On the 21st of December, the African Cup of Nations will be going underway in Morocco. And if you know African Cup of Nations, you know that you're going to see peak entertainment. Yes, the football is good. It's really underrated, let me say that. But the moments... But yes, this will be a good celebration of African football, seeing all 24 nations going into this tournament, looking to see who can win the African Cup of Nations. But of course, in this video, we're just going to be looking at the teams to watch at the tournament. These teams, these 6 teams that I've drafted up, will be looking at their squad, looking at their form going into the tournament, and deciding if they have a chance at winning the African Cup of Nations. But these are not my predictions. I'll be doing that soon on the channel. But for now, we can get into this video. But before we get into the video, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And let's get into this video. Up first, we have Senegal, and without a doubt, I think you, even watching this video, knows that Senegal are going into this tournament as the absolute favorites in this one. And that's because they have a very stacked squad. Probably one of the most stacked squads I've ever seen. For Senegal, you could say this is their golden generation, their first real good generation since at least the 2002, when they were going up against France, beating France at that tournament. I could give credit to Aliou Cisse, who is someone who is mostly associated with the rise of Senegal again, but you could also look at their coach that got hired in 2023 being Ali Chow, who has completely revolutionized football in Senegal. We don't really say it, but like, coaches are very important in these type of tournaments. We look at Amrin with United, enough said. But if we had to look at a bit of stats and facts from the team, before they lost against Brazil, they had the longest unbeaten run in football, which was 28 games. Currently, they are also averaging about 2.5 goals a game, and in World Cup qualifying, they only conceded 3 goals while scoring 22 in the process. But of course, the most fascinating thing about this team is their squad. And I have a list of players just here that I'm just going to run down right now. Sadio Mane, Ismail Assar, Papa Matassa, Iliman Ndiaye, Idrissa Gana Gueye, Kalidou Koulibaly, Nicholas Jackson, Malik Diouf, Moussa Niakate, Ibrahim Mbaye, Edouard Mendy, Ilya Kamara. Those are just the more well-known names from the squad. But yes, for me and everyone else watching this video, we know that Senegal are going into this tournament being the team to beat, being the ones who are the favorites for the African Cup of Nations. Up next, we have Morocco. They will be the hosts for the AFCON this year. Of course, it does come with a lot of pressure. We look at Egypt in 2019, they fell to the pressure. We look at Cameroon in 2021, they eventually fell to the pressure. Only recently we can look at an Ivory Coast who hosted AFCON 2023 and went on to win it. Maybe Morocco can look at these guys as some sort of inspiration and to find luck to win the African Cup of Nations. But I don't even think they need that luck, seeing that their team is really incredible. We're not going to forget their performance in the World Cup 2022, making the semi-finals. And obviously, I feel like development in the country from a football standpoint has been incredible to see. Coach Walid is also a very good coach. I've watched most of Morocco's games in the 2020s. He's also a very big factor in how they've been performing in the 2020s. And of course, he has the talent pool to, complement his ideas. When we look at stats, at least by the time when I wrote these notes, they equaled South Africa's record for the longest winning streak in international football, being 17. They did. And since their shock exit to South Africa in AFCON 2023, they've played 19 games, 18 wins, 1 draw, and 0 losses. And I know for sure you will not guess who they drew to. You will not guess. I'll give you like 5 seconds. If we have to look at some of their players, they have Brahim Diaz, is up there, Mazraoui, Roman Saiz, Sofian Amrabat, En-Nesyri, Sabari, Akomach, Azzedine Anawi. And there's also a name that I did not mention because I don't think he's going to play the African Cup of Nations. I think it's Hakimi because I'm not sure about his injury. I don't know how he's recovering right now, but we also that tackle from Luis Diaz that I cannot watch back. Actually, I feel like for Morocco and Senegal, I'm looking at these two as the outright favorites. And yes, Morocco will be very good, and I do see them winning the African Cup of Nations as well. Now, next up, we have South Africa. Now, we've gotten to the point of the video where we can remove the outright favorites, and we have a few teams who, if they had to win the AFCON, you wouldn't have a problem with it, but they aren't the outright favorites. And that's South Africa. And it was just 4 years ago when we couldn't qualify for the African Cup of Nations. But I won't forget those games. Those Sudan games, I will never forget those games, okay? But yes, ever since Hugo Broos took reins as Bafana Bafana manager in 2021, the team has completely changed. It's gone from being a holiday for most players in the 2010s to being a very competitive space, being a very competitive team on Africa. And it showed by their performance in the AFCON in 2023, making the semi-finals, finishing third at the tournament. And since they lost to Mali at the start of the tournament, at the start of AFCON, South Africa have been unbeaten for 25 games at least. And also our third place finish in 2023 was our best finish in the African Cup of Nations since 2000, which we also finished in third. Now, a quick rundown of the players who will be going to the African Cup of Nations. Most of you guys will not know who these people are because we are mostly reliant on people playing in South Africa. So if you're not familiar with South African football, these are the guys who will be important for South Africa going into the AFCON. Teboho Mokoena, Rile Mufokeng, Begezeli Mbogazi, Sipho Mbule, Oswin Mpolis, Yaya Sitole, Ronwen Williams, Kolisi Budau, and there's so many other people. This is a very, very strong team. But unfortunately, we are missing one of our best players, who was our best player at the AFCON 2023. Unfortunately, was hampered with injuries throughout the start of this season. Themba Zwane, he is an incredible player and one of the best players at AFCON in 2023 as a whole. But I still think this is a very good and capable squad. We have players who are playing for competitive teams in Africa, being Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns as well. Well, for now, I think South Africa will do really well at the African Cup of Nations. As to win it, I hope it would happen, but I don't think they're outright favorites. So yeah, that's South Africa. Up next, we have Tunisia. And I know this is a this is like a sleeper pick for the AFCON title. For me, a bit of like an unknown commodity to everyone else, right? For years, I've been thinking, how are these guys always qualifying for the World Cup? You don't really hear about like big players from this nation, and every single time these guys are at the World Cup. You look at Tunisia and you're like, yes, these guys aren't really like big enough to call themselves one of the giants of Africa, but then again, they're not small enough to say they are unknown commodity in Africa. But since AFCON 2023, when they lost to Namibia in a group stage exit, by the way, they've played 22 games, 7 draws and 3 losses. Also, no need to mention this in the video, but unbeaten in their World Cup qualifying with 9 wins and 1 draw, conceding 0 goals in that whole campaign qualifying for the World Cup. And yes, I did mention that they don't really have well-known players outside of Tunisia. Majority of the national team do play in Europe, and for some decent teams as well. And one of their most well-known players being Hannibal Mejbri, who did play for Manchester United, currently playing for Burnley right now, I would say is their most well-known player. But they also do have other good players like Ismail Gabi, who did make his debut for Tunisia this year. Jan Valery, as someone I do remember, I had an FM save with Southampton once. I didn't really finish it all that much. I remember him from there. And another player I just found out about, Hazim Mastraoui, who, I don't know if I pronounced that right. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But yes, he had a promising season last season domestically in the Tunisian league, scoring 16 goals in 27 games. This is a very unknown team, and if they had to win the AFCON, I feel like it would be a big surprise. But then again, if you look at their performances in the World Cup qualifiers and the AFCON qualifiers as well, you shouldn't be all too surprised. Now, we have the heroes of Africa next. DR Congo. They are the reason Africa is quiet right now. But yes, these guys are another sleeper pick who have also really gradually improved over the last 2 years. Because when you look at their 2024 run, in their first 10 games that they played in the first half of 2024, they only lost 2. But when you look at it with a microscope, they only had 1 win out of those 10 games, drawing 7 of them. But then again, in the second half of the year, they won 5 out of their 7 games, only conceding 3. And in 2025, they played 10 games so far only losing once to Senegal in a 2-3 loss after taking a 2-0 lead, failing to qualify directly to the World Cup. There's a lot of standout players that they did call up to the national team. Obviously, Noah Sadiq is there, Mishak Ilya, Arthur Masuku, Axel Twanzebe, Chancel Mbemba, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Mario Strykens, and Fishton Mayele playing for Pyramids. But a very, very big miss for DR Congo going into this AFCON is Wissa, who is not going to the African Cup of Nations because he has been injured for majority of the season. But yes, I do feel like DR Congo will be going as a sleeper pick. I think they are another team who can shock the world and win the African Cup of Nations as well. And last but not least, we have the current champions, the Ivory Coast. Now, I feel like this is another weird case. Why are they around? Obviously, they are the champions of Africa, so I can't really leave them out. But I don't rate them all that much, because coming in as underdogs in a tournament that you are champion of is insane. I won't lie to you, it is insane. But I had to include them in this video. Still to this day, one of the weirdest title wins I've ever seen in my life, bruh. How do you right? Finish third in your group, have a -3 goal difference, and losing 4-0 to Equatorial Guinea. You go through still to the knockout stages, and that's of course because of the third place rule. And even the knockout stage run is also kind of weird because they upset Senegal on penalties in round of 16, and then there was a game with 2 red cards against Mali, and they went through. And then of course the Nigeria in the final. And since the AFCON triumph, they've only went on and lost 4 games out of the 17 that they've played since then. And when you look at the squad as well, it's very, very talented. Sebastian Haller, Frank Kessie, Amad Diallo, Ziridue's brother. Also, I signed him on FM as well. Pretty decent as a backup option. Odilon Kusano, Eva Kesan, Usman Diomande, Yan Diomande as well, a very young player, and Seko Fofana. These are the few of the talented players going into the African Cup of Nations. They're just another team that I feel like I'm severely underrating, and I feel it's gonna bite me back. So we've made it to the end of the video. Question: who do you think is going to win the African Cup of Nations? Who didn't I name that you think should have been here? Please make sure you do comment your opinion in the comment section down below. It will forever be open. And if possible, I hope to make more AFCON content during the tournament. We don't really have a lot of representation in terms of YouTubers making content on African football and specifically AFCON, so I hope that I can be one of those guys making as much content as possible on the African Cup of Nations. So if you want to see more videos about that, please make sure you can also mention down in the comments section down below. But for now, it's been me, Tintin Alpha, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.